Right now we have on with us a lovely lady, and I say that because not only is she beautiful on the outside, she's wonderful on the inside. She's intelligent, she's smart, and she has a drive to do good things for California. We have Lupe Espinoza. She is running for California State Assembly District 31. This is the thing, is I read her website, and I pulled information off about her, and it gets down to the basics of what we're all looking for right now. People who love California, they love their families, they want good things for their community. And this is what I gleaned from her website. Lupe was raised in the Central Valley, all-American girl. She and her family still live and work in Coalinga after graduating from Fresno State with a double major in agricultural education and Chicano Latino studies. Lupe went on to earn her master's in education and counseling. Lupe has volunteered at youth events. She's really involved in the community. We love that. She's has small business endeavors, so she's involved with that, and community fundraisers throughout her career. So this isn't just a fly-by-night deal for her. She's committed to her community, and the people there, I believe, know that already. But one thing I want to point out from her website is it says, as a candidate, Lupe seeks to lower the tax burden, fight legislation that is harmful to small businesses and communities, increasing funding for after-school programs, and improve access to water for all residents of California. Additionally, Lupe wishes to increase funding for mental health services and improve rural support for our nation's veterans. You get down to the basics. It's community, right, Lupe?
Right. Right.
Welcome
Absolutely.
to the Erin Cruz Show. We're just so glad to have you on. I was so excited when you said, yes, come on. I mean, your vision is clear. You want to serve the people.
Yes.
What is the current legislator doing there for the community?
The current legislator, I would have to say, is not doing anything really for our community. His votes, if you were to go and look at his vote record, he hasn't been there very long. He won a special election in 2015, so he was in for a year, and then he did the general in 2016.
Right.
So he's been there going on 3 years, and in those 3 years, he's managed to vote to increase our gas tax. Mm-hmm. He voted for cap and trade. He's voted. He pretends, and I say pretends, to support getting water for our valley, for our farms, and for everything that we need water for, right?
Right.
But I haven't actually seen him move his party in a direction that actually allows for us to have some water storage, release some of the water that is needed to grow our food.
We're talking basic needs here. We're not talking about, and even if you wanted to water your grass, okay, and you wanted to pay for the water, you should be able to buy water. Right. And do what you choose to do with it. I do believe in complete free market in that area, obviously guided by certain pieces of legislation. But here's the thing. You're not asking for a big deal. You're talking about agriculture. Not only are you talking about basic needs to help feed American families, you're talking about commerce.
Absolutely.
I just don't know how they can get away with interfering in commerce, too. I mean, it's really something that it just blows my mind. So you're getting back to the basics.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes, just the things that, and I don't know if you've ever been to Coalinga or mm-hmm. anyone's listening's been to Coalinga. Coalinga is a very rural area. Mm-hmm. It is the furthest southwest in Fresno County. So we border, I think it's San Benito County and Monterey County, and then Kings County. And but it's way out there. So for Coalinga, anyone in Coalinga knows that if you want to go anywhere, it's an hour drive. So if you need to go to the mall, if you need to, other than our smaller grocery stores and stuff in town, you have to drive, you have to get out, because there's no businesses coming in, right? We had Kmart there, and it closed down. And so I'm like, there are people who can't drive. There are people who cannot do whatever the rural transport is. So when I'm out talking to people, especially in the rural areas, where I consider the decisions that are made in Sacramento, I call them mandates and decrees that come down from Sacramento, disproportionately affect, I think, rural communities. And
Indeed,
they never
they
take
do.
that.
They're
Yes.
meant for, I look at it as this, is that urbanization, it's killing America. I think it's great. I mean, that people are able to live in a condensed area and be able to serve their needs and everything else. But you look at California, and there are many, many, many countless rural communities that are not shut off from other areas, but they are far out from, say, urban city centers.
Right.
And how do these people cope with the type of legislation that is meant to serve massive urban centers like LA, San Diego, San Francisco? It's a tragedy, and especially to hear that the representative there, or the assemblyman there, isn't serving his community. He's not advocating.
Yeah, exactly. He's not fighting for his constituents, and the reason I think is because he doesn't actually have to. He doesn't suffer the consequence of the decisions that are made. He's pretty affluent. He's, I think he was raised, and there is nothing wrong with that. I applaud that. I am like,
right. We all want to do better and be better and be greater and make more money and do better things for, grow our families and all of that. I don't think that's what you're getting at all.
Yeah, it's just that you don't, when you're in Sacramento and you're deciding on a piece of legislation that you're going to vote on or that you're going to put forth to committee, did you think about that, how that affects the community that you're serving? And then by extension, other communities, right? Because a vote that he takes or anybody takes in the legislature affects everybody in California.
Right. So, for example, the CARB, where they, in fact, it's like a hidden gas tax. It hits everybody on the back end. And then they went ahead and then not only did they do that, they did an actual gas tax. Right. They didn't even let the people choose and vote on any sort of tax adjustments. That's not serving people in rural communities. No. Many people, and you live in an agricultural area, right? It's very rural.
Yes, agriculture and oil.
Right. So, many people, they may even commute. I mean, maybe they live close, but, they may drive, or anything that they want to do outside of their area, they have to commute. Right. And that costs money, and they may have moved there for a certain purpose.
Right.
And these legislators are literally taking money off of the table, feeding these children that are, and they're taking it in the form of gas tax, right out of your gas tank.
Absolutely. And the for instance, I drive about 85 miles one way to work every day. So for me, I'm a single mom. Mm-hmm. So that, I mean, for me, when people say, well, what actually got you to run, coming out of nowhere kind of thing. And I'm like, that did. When I had to change the way I did things in my house because I had to make sure that I could afford gas in my gas tank.
That you could afford to
just
get to work.
To go to work. Right. There was something that kind of, it not only didn't sit right, I was just like, that's just outright wrong. I mean, who are these people who are doing this? And we haven't even gotten the cap and trade tax. That's another 19 cents, I believe, a gallon tax hike.
Right, and people don't. People don't see it.
Felt that yet. Yes, they haven't said that. And he actually just voted, with all this going on. He actually just voted for us to be for us to be taxed on our mileage. So they want to not only all the other taxes, but to also tax us per mile. Now, this brings in a whole other slew of problems when I think of, well, how are you going to track my mileage? Are you going to stick a GPS in my car.
Make insurance companies report. I mean, it's overreach.
Right.
It's massive government
it's
overreach.
Massive overreach. It is total invasion of your privacy. Now all of a sudden the state of California will know exactly where you go, when you go, what time you go. The only thing they may not know is what you do there, but who knows? They might put a camera on your car too. I don't know. Right? So
they're out of control. Sacramento is out of control.
Absolutely.
They I was really looking at this last week. Our show got kicked, and halfway in, an hour in, and this tumbleweed happened, and I started really looking and stepping back, and then that next, I don't know, couple of hours or the next day, something came up about Gavin Newsom, and he was saying that he's really he's all behind universal health care, 100%. And I was watching the way he was talking, and then I was watching some other stories that came out. These people are at the very lightest. They're not progressive Democrats. They're socialists.
Right.
And they're not afraid to say that government has the right to control, watch, control, monitor your life in the name of safety, in the name of health, in the name of whatever it might be.
Right.
And gather whatever information, and then you owe the government tax for doing that. And it's almost as if it's moving from more of a socialist thing to a communist thing. It's all about control.
Absolutely. So,
I mean, I'm really glad. That's frightening what I just said right there, but I'm really glad that a young person like you, with, a strong background, you love your community, you have strong family values, is taking action. Because we need real people up there who care. I mean, you'll understand the policy. You'll be able to maneuver the people politics and all the stuff that's going on up there. I don't have any hesitation about that. But your morals, your values, everything that is who you are, at the core of who you are, that's where it's at. Because we need people serving the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I think of this...
and he's not.
Yes, and this is not the form of government that our founding fathers had in mind. This is not what they signed up for, and it shows because people are in it for themselves. I don't see, there's very few legislators who really care about their communities and are involved in their communities.
It's photo ops.
Yes, and the sad thing is, you get there and you see people just enriching themselves. And I don't know. For me, it is one of those things like, look, I don't know anything about this, like you said, as far as politics. I mean, I've been on the peripherals in the background helping candidates. But taking that step forward, and I understand it's completely scary. It's the unknown, and I have always considered myself a pretty private person, so this is a whole other world for me. Where you have to, and it's not so much me talking to people; it's me having to ask for stuff. I'm not used to that because being you try to be as independent as possible, and so it's a huge stretch for me. But I think that it's worth it, and I think that more people are called to do this. Good people are afraid to take the risk, but we have to at some point. We have to, because I want my California to be prospering like the rest of the country is right now, and we're not. And we're not, because we have a legislature that's being run by a supermajority for the most part that are actively fighting making this state better. I mean, they are actually spending money.
They're literally, I mean, the way many people who are watching the show and the way I view it, see it, they're working for other people and other interests. They're working for illegals. They're working for the criminals, as a matter of fact. They're making felonies now misdemeanors. They're now, saying you don't need a bail bonds. I mean, they're cash bail. I mean, they're doing like crazy things that aren't serving the the taxpayers or the citizens of this Republic of California.
Right.
I mean, they're going completely outside it's ludicrous what they're doing. So I'm really super happy you're running. Now, where do you stand? You say you talk about veterans. Now, where do you stand on veteran support? I mean, it sounds like you have people out there that don't have a lot of resources.
Right. So we know that Veterans Affairs is a federal issue, but you can at the state level lobby. You can still help when the feds are coming in and are maybe giving money to do something. Rural communities really have very little veteran resources and support, and so what I would like to see are public places. For instance, Coalinga actually just through the public library launched a veterans resources little office. So there's someone there that's going to help people once or twice a week. Any veteran that comes in that needs help with whatever it may be, whether it's benefits, whether it's looking for jobs, whether it is accessing the college education, so accessing their GI Bill, perhaps, or for their children.
Right.
That's what's missing. So we have so many veterans who have, fought for us, who have served us, and they have been left behind. They're kind of the "we'll get to you when we get to you" kind of thing, and I don't think that that's okay. I think that they were willing to give their life for me. I think we can give a little of our time and effort to make sure that every community has some kind of veteran resources available, and that they are accessible also.
Right. This brings up a very interesting point, because what I see California doing is squashing businesses. They're squashing small businesses, they're squashing large businesses, they're doing whatever they can to get whatever penny they can get out of them, plus they're putting on more regulations, which are pre-tax, which gets more money out of these people. I mean, they're just squashing business. People are leaving in droves.
In droves, right.
We want them to stay here. But one thing that I noticed that California is not doing, it wants to do everything itself. Government feeds government, which breeds more government. Right. What I'd like to see California do is have better relationships with nonprofit organizations and other types of businesses, so to speak, nonprofits, who can do outreach, who can operate better, who use volunteers, who operate efficiently, and apply for state funds or support for certain programs where they don't have donors to do so. I just think that they can do it so much better than the government can.
Right.
And California has not been really friendly about this. They want to do it all themselves.
Yeah, it goes back
Health
to
and Human
control.
Services type deal.
Yes.
California wants to
Well, yeah, and I
be
think
a communist state, really.
Yes, and it comes down to control. So if you can control every aspect of everything, you get to control every aspect of everything. So I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We need more nonprofits to be able to step up.
Because they can do things like what you're talking about. They can help these individuals in these underrepresented areas or groups, or even in rural areas, because they'll be able to organize and nonprofits do well at that. There are a lot of seniors or older people who would like to help in organizations and volunteer their time. But, there has to be a mechanism by which to do that. And the state makes it very difficult. If you want to start up a nonprofit, just to start up any company, any LLC here, is $800.
Right.
Off the top.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
That's before you really you don't even get to do anything before. You're spending money to make money, but in the case of these nonprofits, how does that make sense?
Right.
So I think there could be a lot of smarter legislation, which, on the state level, which could help encourage, a more friendly environment for nonprofits and small businesses. And it sounds like you're in support of that. Well, we're coming to the end of our segment here. I'm really excited about your candidacy. I want people to, if you could repeat your name, a little bit about your platform and your website. I want people to be able to connect with you and, help you out, make phone calls for you, whatever it is that you need, support your campaign. So if you could go ahead and do that.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. I am looking for volunteers. This is a very grassroots effort. in endeavor, but my name's Lupe Espinoza, running for 31st Assembly District here in California. My webpage is Lupe Espinoza 4, the number 4, stateassembly.com, and they can go there for any more information on my platform, or if they'd like to donate, or if they'd like to leave their information for volunteering, please go there. And again, my platform, I mean, it really is pretty simple. It's, first of all, let's repeal the gas tax. In the gas tax,
on 6.
Yes, on 6. And in the gas tax, actually, I believe there's a provision in there that would actually scrub this per mile gas tax. So it would make it unconstitutional for them to do that. So yes, on 6, please. Secondly, I mean, education, veterans, water. I want clean, accessible water for everybody in the valley, everybody in California. Everybody should be able to water their grass.
It's so basic, right?
And there actually is plenty of water if we were to capture it. So I'd like to see some of that prop money go to what it said it's supposed to go to. And let me see. I'm here to fight, and help people ease that burden. I want that what you make, you bring home. I'm done with the government stealing your money. And so, of course, there's some taxes that we have to pay for certain things, but not as much as we're being fleeced right now. And it's not okay.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Lupe. You heard it, everybody. You heard it, everybody.
Thank you.
Go to her website, check out her information, and if you feel inclined, Time, Talent, Treasure. Lupe needs your support. And also spread the good word. Get the information out about her and her campaign, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Erin. God bless you.
To hear more and to learn more on how you can make an impact or about the Erin Cruz Show, visit us online at erincruz.com. That's ERINCRUZ.com.